ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤ ਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ। ਪਹਿਲਾ ਮਰਨ ਕਬੂਲ ਜੀਵਨ ਕੀ ਛੱਡ ਆਸ ਹੋ ਸਭਨ ਕੀ रेण का तो आओ हमारे पास। पहला मरण कबूल जीवन की छड़ आस हो सबन की रेण का तो आओ हमारे पास। वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। So Guru Roop, Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, today the 30th of October we are going live to reflect on the Saka Panja Sahib, the massacre that happened at Panja Sahib, which is now in Pakistan. When we hear of Saka Panja Sahib, what we normally, our attention is drawn to Gursikh sitting on a railway track, and a train comes and makes some of them shaheed and injures many others. And that this was done so the Gursikhs at that time could feed the other Gursikhs that were on the train that were being transported to prison by the Britishers, who were the colonizers of the land at the time. However, to understand what truly happened at Saka Panja Sahib, there's three things we need to take into account here. First of all, there's Guru Ka Bagh Morcha. Then there's Nankana Sahib massacre. When we look at these two things, then we kind of get some context about why Saka Panja Sahib happened. And not only that, there's also, in the words of Gyani Thakur Singh Ji, they very eloquently say that जिन्नी देर तक आपां जड़ तक नहीं पहुंचते उन्नी देर तक गल नहीं बनती, meaning until we do not go to the root of something, until then we don't truly get a grasp of what is going on. Now in that, what I mean by that is, even going further than Guru Ka Bagh Morcha, and even going further than Saka Nankana Sahib, we need to take our focus to the time of Guru Sahban. So at the time of Guru Maharajis, many Gursikhs were given manjiya, and manjiya means they were given the authority to go and do prachar, to go and propagate Sikhi throughout the lands what was known as Bharat at the time, now known as India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, even as far as far south as Burma, Patna Sahib. So these Gursikhs were given manjiya. meaning they were pretty much representatives of the Guru. They would go far and wide and go and spread the message of Sikhi, of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj's message. Now, these Gursikhs that were sent by Guru Sahib Ji at the time, these Gursikhs were very pious beings. They were very, very pure beings. They went far and wide. They set up their life in those areas, and what they did, they spent their lives teaching the local people the message of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and propagating Sikhi. As time went on, and as they, each and every one of them, left their bodies, their family, their blood lineage would usually take charge of that place and still continue propagating Sikhi. Now, moving further from there, as time went on and Guru Sahib's bodily form was no more, and the Khalsa Panth had been established, and the Khalsa Panth began to flourish, these places were taken over by, well, the people who ran these places, they were given the title of Mahant. Mahant you could understand as being caretakers. These caretakers would then run these Gurdwara, Gurusthans, and they would continue in propagating the message of Sikhi. And as with everything, as time goes on, unless the individual who is in charge is stooped in Sikhi, is imbued with the message of Sikhi, is living and practicing Sikhi themselves, what goes and happens is somewhere along the line, the message begins to disappear and corruption begins to set in. These Mahants largely began using the Gurdwaras revenues, the Gurusthan's revenues, for their own purposes. They started mismanaging these places, and then when the Khalsa Raj came, when after Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, when the Khalsa Raj was said, not so much the Raj, but the Khalsa was growing and expanding and getting further and further out of just Punjab itself. There was the Mughals who started putting a price on the heads of Gursikhs. The Singhs at that time, they went and started living in the jungles. Whilst living in the jungles, these Mahants, they started taking more and more Gurusthans under their wing, under their control. Why? Because at that time they had become quite influential. They had become quite prosperous. They had made quite a bit of money from these, from them being in control of these asthans. And as their power and their influence grew, pretty much a lot of Guru Kars came under their control, and they slowly started introducing non-Sikh practices, more like, say, bringing idol worship into Gurdwara, bringing other, say, more extreme Udasi kind of practices into the Gurdwara. Some people argue if it wasn't for that, then we would have lost a lot of the Gurdwara. But that may be so. But a lot of places started getting mismanaged. The message of Sikhi started disappearing, and a Ralma Melma kind of Hindu background kind of message started being propagated. Lo and behold, as the Mughals started disappearing, and then the Sikh Raj came in, and then Maharaja Ranjit Singh, they pass away, and the Britishers, the colonizers, the British, they take a big, massive part in the control, in the governing of India at that time, of the Punjab at that time. What they began doing is they began realizing that these Mahants hold a great lot of power. They started making inroads with these Mahants. Why? Because the people the British wanted to rule over, especially in the Punjab, were the Sikhs. Now, the Sikhs were the only ones who gave them any kind of resistance. Now, when they wanted to rule over these Sikhs, they needed someone who they could use to divide the Sikhs and then rule over the Sikhs. And these Mahants, because they were in charge of the Gurdwara institutions, they were the people to go and meet, and they made inroads with these Mahants. They bought these Mahants off, and as I've already mentioned, the Mahants were already very motivated by money. They would use the Gurdwara funds for their own use, A lot of them became extremely rich off this as well, hence why they were influential. And so, what the Gore did, the British did, they made alliances with these Mahants and then used these Mahants to kind of steer the conversation whenever the Khalsa would meet under the Nishan Sahib, meaning at the Gurdwara Sahib. And if any mate, any resolutions had to be passed, anything had to be discussed, any way forward needed to be found, these Mahants would be there present and they would kind of direct in one way or the other, or influence in one way or the other, the outcome of these gatherings. The Sikh Sangat very easily picked up that the tactics the British are using are tactics that all rulers use. Even at the times of the Mughals would make friends with people who were rich and influential in the land of Bharat at the time. They would make friends with them, and then through them they would rule the masses, rather than just going in and becoming rulers, which they were. But they would use these, for example, Chandu. Chandu was a very influential person from Lahore. The Mughals made him one of the main courtiers in the Darbar of Jahangir. And then it was through him they were able to control the people. Why? Because he had long established and long standing relations with the people of the time and the place. Same with the Mahants. Because the Mahants were known in the area, they were influential, they too were used by the British to kind of steer the conversation in the way and also act as spies. And this carried on until the late 1800s, when the Singh Sabha movement started. And then in the early 1900s, another movement started called the Gurdwara Sudhar Lehar. And Gurdwara Sudhar Lehar means a movement where the Gurdwara would be reformed, meaning that the people who are in control, who have taken control by force, by no right, that they would end up losing their control, and the Sikh Panth would have the Gurdwara under their control. And it's through this Gurdwara Sudhar Lehar movement, the SGPC, Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, was started at the time. Now, during the Gurdwara Sudhar Lehar movement, a lot of these Mahants began losing their kabja, their forceful taking over of Gurustans and Gurdwara. As this was happening, I beg your pardon. So as this was happening, you've got a main player, a Mahant by the name of Narayan Das. Mahant Narayan Das was a very great figure in Sikh history, not for good reasons, for rotten reasons, for bad reasons. He was the Mahant at Nankana Sahib. Now, Nankana Sahib is also in Pakistan. At Nankana Sahib, he was the Mahant who kind of ruled with an iron fist. And the Britishers let him get away with everything and anything. Now, what Mahant Narayan Das had done at the time, reading into history, you can see that not only he used to beat people that kind of stepped out of line according to how he wanted to run the place at Nankana Sahib, but many girls had been raped by him and his goons. And when the families of these girls would go and report this to the authorities, meaning the Britishers or even the government set up by the Britishers at that time, a blind eye was turned. Why? Because Mahanta Narayan Das was someone they needed to steer any kind of conversation, and also to kind of act as a spy, and also split the Sikhs so that they could never come together and challenge the Britishers in a sense worthy of calling it a challenge. So this Mahanta Narayan Das getting support from the Britishers, this was also seen by other Mahants throughout the lands of Punjab, and this then emboldened them to kind of dig their heels in. So as even though the Gurdwara Sudhar Lehar movement had started taking Gurdwara back into their control, some Mahants dug their heels in, and one Mahant who dug his heels in, his name was Sundar Lal. Now we're moving away from Nankana Sahib and coming into Punjab as we know it now, about 20 kilometers east of where Amritsar Sahib is now. So the district is Amritsar Sahib. The tehsil is Ajnala. The tehsil means the region, the quarter for administration of the region of Amritsar Sahib. So the tehsil is Ajnala, and the pind is Kukewali. Kukewali has got a small Gurdwara. At the time, it was called Guru Ki Road. Now, Guru Ki Road Gurdwara is a nishani. It's in remembrance of the visiting of Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj and also Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj. This Gurdwara was built, the building itself was built by a Gurmukh called Punjab Singh. Punjab Singh built the building, and every Purnamasi on full moon, Sikh Sangta would get together there, and there would be a Jod Mela. So all Sikh Sangta would get together there, and whatever smagam they would plan and execute, that would happen. And this carried on until then. Some other Gurmukhs and Gursikhs got together, and they purchased 65 acres of land which is adjoining the building, which was Guru Ki More Gurstan in Kukiwal, I beg your pardon. So in Kukewali pinned the building called Guru Ki More Gurdwara, Guru Ki Road, I beg your pardon. This then has 65 acres of land bought and put in the name of the Gurdwara, and the Gurdwara's name then changes to Guru Ka Bagh, meaning the garden of the Guru. So the 65 acres that were bought by the Sikh Sangat and given to the Gurdwara changes the name from Guru Ki Road to Guru Ka Bagh, and this is where the name Guru Ka Bagh comes for the Gurdwara, which is famous for as Guru Ka Bagh Morcha. Now, when this happens, Sundarlal the Mahant, who was in charge of the Gurdwara, he also makes these 65 acres his, because the Gurdwara effectively belongs to him, because he's the Mahant in charge of it. The Sikh Sangat are not really fussed by this, but now that the Gurdwara Sudhar Lair has started, and the Gurdwara Sudhar Lair, the Gurdwara Reform Movement, has started taking control of Gurdwara. The SGPC has been created by 1920, and what happens is the Sikh Panth, they decide that they want the Kabja, the hold that he's got on the Gurdwara, to come to the Sikh Panth, because he really truly has no right over it. This Mahant or his predecessors, they would have taken over the Gurdwara at the time of that land at the time of either the Mughals or when the colonizers came, the Britishers came. So he was not really the owner. The building was built by Punjab Singh. The 65 acres were bought by the Sikh Sangat and put in the name of the Gurdwara. He was just the person who held the title as it being his, and having the help of the Britishers, no one had ever challenged him. But when he saw that the other Gurdwara are now going into the hands of the SGPC and the Gurdwara Sudhar Lair movement, he got scared a little. And what he did, you would think that the person who's in charge of a Gurdwara would have some sort of spirituality in them. He was a deadbeat. He didn't really have anything. In today's terminology, he was a waste of space, actually. He had no spirituality in him whatsoever. He was rich from being a Mahant and having eaten the Guru's Pesa for such a long time as it was, and whatever other endeavors he may have had. But he was still using the Gurdwara funds for his own purposes. Now, this is in 1920 that he sees the lay of the land. He sees that the Sudhar Lair movement, Gurdwara Reform movement, is taking control. The SGPC has been established. When he sees this, some sort of fear arose in him. He then, to safeguard himself, goes to the Sri Akal Takht Sahib. He meets with the leaders there, and he says he will take Amrit. And he takes Amrit, and he enters into an agreement in 1921 in January, the 31st of January in 1921. He enters into an agreement that he will take Amrit, he will reform his ways, he will sign the Gurdwara and the land over to the Khalsa Panth, and he is named after taking Amrit as Joginder Singh. That's his new name. Once he's signed over everything, he has a change of heart. He says, no, I will give you just the building, but the 65 acres will remain mine. He gives the Gurdwara Guru Ka Bagh Gurdwara over to the Sikh Sangat, over to the SGPC, but he keeps the 65 acres for himself. This is on the 31st of January 1921. In 1921, also 3 weeks after this, is when the massacre at Nankana Sahib happens. And he's still in fear. If that's happened over there, what can happen here? But he plays it safe. He doesn't really get involved. The Gursikhs are running the Gurdwara. There's still programs happening. Since the Gurdwara has now fallen into the hands of the SGPC, there are more and more programs happening. And when the Gursikhs are doing these programs for the Langar, they are going to collect wood from Guru Ka Bagh, the 65 acres. Now, when he gets word of the Gursikhs going onto his land, which he takes it as, and cutting down trees and using the trees as firewood to prepare prashade, to prepare langar, he then brings this to the attention of the Britishers, who are the government there at that time. And he says that they are trespassing on my land. He didn't say he wanted anyone arrested. Whether he wanted someone arrested or not, I don't know. But he definitely brings it to their attention. What the Britishers do, as soon as they find out, in August, in very early August of the same year of 1921, they begin to hassle the Gursikhs that go to collect wood. On the 8th of August, what they do is they stop the 5-6 that have gone out to collect wood for the preparation of the langar at Guru Ka Bagh Gurdwara, and they beat them mercilessly. They arrest them. They also further arrest the 4 langris, the 4 Gursikhs that are going to prepare the langar. So 9 of them are arrested. They are beaten. They are then charged. They are presented before the magistrate, who then finds them guilty and gives them 6 months in prison each. Also 50 rupees. 50 rupees was a lot of money in that time. It was a great, huge fine that they received. And 50 rupees plus they were given 6-month sentences, and they were sent to the jail at Attock. Now, Attock is in Pakistan. It is, if we travel from Amritsar Sahib to Panja Sahib, it's past Panja Sahib in the same direction. The Attock area, a jail was commissioned there in 1905, 1906, thereabouts, by the British. And this jail that was commissioned was in 67 acres of land, and it was out in the further reaches of their rule. So much so, why? Because anyone that kind of resisted them in the main body of Punjab, as we know it now, would be sent out there, out of sight, out of mind. Now, those prisoners, those Gursikhs that they had arrested, 9 of them, they were sent to this jail at Attock. And this then is brought to the attention of the SGPC. The SGPC, along with other Akali leaders, they decided that the Gurdwara belongs to the Sikh Panth. The Bagh also belongs to the Sikh Panth, even though he hasn't signed it over. That the lakkad for the langar will come from Guru Ka Bagh, from the garden of the Guru, for Guru Ka Langar. So they will not stop. However, they will not be violent either. So 5-6 every single day would go to collect firewood to be used in the Guru Ka Langar. And every single day, the Britishers, the police, the local police, they would get together and they would beat the 5-6. And they were beaten so much so, many times, they were beaten senselessly until they're unconscious. This carries on all the way till the 20th of, I beg your pardon, this carries on to the 24th of August. On the 24th of August, the SGPC get together again. They realize that 180 Gursikhs by now have been arrested, beaten mercilessly, and also sent to Attock jail, which is, I've already mentioned, in the outer reaches of the Punjab. On the 25th on the 24th of August, when this meeting happened, a decision was made that larger jathe other than 5-6 would go daily and and carry on collecting firewood. And the Jatha size is increased. The British, their effort to stop them increased also. And then on the 25th, when there was going to be a smagam, a Jod Mela at this place, at Guru Ka Bagh, the superintendent, he gave orders to stop anyone not only collecting firewood but also attending the Jod Mela. Now there was a large gathering that was going to gather that day as per Purnamasi for any Jod Mela, and the Britishers senselessly beat not only those that were going to collect the firewood but also those attending. They started putting blocks on the roads, any routes into Guru Ka Bagh, and 35, it is counted, Gursikhs were beaten so senselessly that they were unconscious. And what's happened after this? On the 26th, the SGPC, they have a meeting, and at this meeting, it's the next kind of stage in what goes on. The British find out that there's going to be a meeting, so by the time the British come and raid this meeting and arrest everyone at the meeting, including the Kali leaders, including the SGPC leaders, and including those that attended the meeting, a numbering totally of 75 thereabouts, a mata was passed that from now a jatha of at least 100 Gursikhs would go every single day to Guru Ka Bagh, and they would not stop regardless of whatever happened, but they would not be violent. They would peacefully resist the efforts of the Britishers to stop Sangat gathering at Guru Ka Bagh. Every single day, 100 Gursikhs would meet at Sri Akal Takht Sahib. So some people say some days 60, some days 80, some days 100, some days even 120. So the numbers fluctuated in between there. They would meet at Sri Akal Takht Sahib. They would do Ardas Benti to Satguru Hargobind Sahib Maharaj that we are going to Guru Ka Bagh. Come what may, we will not stop, and if they beat us, we will not retaliate in any way. Asi Shantamai Morcha apnavange, and we'll stick to it. We will hold a morcha in a peaceful way, regardless of whatever they do. So every day, this number of Gursikhs would gather at Sri Akal Takht Sahib, and Ardasa would be done to Guru Maharaj, and they would leave. And when they are going from Akal Takht Sahib to Kukkewali Pen, 20 kilometers away, they would walk, and they would walk barefooted. Once there, well, I say once there, before they could even get to Guru Ka Bagh, the Asthan, the Britishers had the roads blocked. They would stop them, and then people from surrounding villages and surrounding areas would start gathering. The other Gursikhs, they would sit and start doing Vaheguru, Vaheguru, while a few number of them every single time would start to approach the line where the block has been made by the Britishers, and they were beaten senselessly. There's accounts of the Britishers beating them until they've passed out, and then stamping on their necks, stamping on their backs, stamping on their rib cages. And in those days, there was an American filmmaker by the name of A.I. Verges, Verges, I believe that's the spelling. He was in the lands of what we now know to be India. He attended and he videoed this whole thing. If you search it on YouTube, you will come across his videos, and you will also come across of the footage where you can see, I'm just trying to find the words to say, how they brutally beat the Gursikhs. These days, we don't see that kind of thing. But the way they were beaten, some of them never recovered from their injuries for the rest of their lives. There's one video you can see, the Gursikh is on the floor. He has been beaten beyond his senses. They get a long staff, they put it on the back of his neck, and then they stand on each end. Whether it broke his neck, whether it damaged the vertebrae, whether it killed him, I don't know. But whatever damage it must have done must have been horrendous. Now this carries on, and in those days also, when this American filmmaker is visiting, a Reverend C.F. Andrews is also there. He wanted to actually go and see Guru Ka Bagh Gurdwara and the Sikh Sangat gathering there. He's a reverend himself. He's also a journalist. So whatever he writes normally gets published in the Manchester Guardian, and he's an educationalist as well. So he's a number of things. He's visiting the area. Uru cha saga. What he was really wanting to see was Guru Ka Bagh Gurdwara, Sikh Sangtan getting together, and then activities on 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 the said day of Purnamasi. So when he is visiting there, he hears from the locals that there is going to be no Diwan because of what's going on. He goes and takes an eyewitness account of what goes on, and what he sees, he says it was demonic. Words to the effect, it was demonic. This is not human in nature. It's brutal. This is not British values. This is not what should be going on. He writes that in the West, we've heard of one Jesus Christ who was crucified. He said, but today I had witnessed hundreds of Jesuses being crucified, being massacred. He writes that the Britishers who are beating them, that they get tired of beating the Sikhs. They get tired so much so that they begin to sigh and cry themselves from getting exhausted. But the Gursikhs that are being beaten, he said not even one of them once whimpered or even made any noise to suggest that they were in pain. They didn't give a care for their body. All they cared about was their Sikhi. All they cared about was the Ardasa they done at Akal Takht Sahib to Satguru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, that if this body goes, so be it. But we will go there and we will try to get to Guru Ka Bagh, Gulistan, and if our body goes in the process, so be it, but we will not be violent. He writes that as these Gursikhs are being beaten, other Gursikhs are sitting there and lovingly chanting the name of their Guru, Vahe Guru, Vahe Guru, Vahe Guru. He said the only sound that is coming is from the Gursikhs saying Vaheguru, or the Britishers who are beating them and making noises as while they're beating them. But the Gursikhs receiving the punishment make no noise at all. So this carries on until, so it started on the 8th. On the 24th, the SGPC said we will increase the numbers. On the 25th, when the program is going to happen, the superintendent blocks all access to Guru Ka Bagh. On the 26th, just recapping, on the 26th, SGPC members, Akali members, and other Gursikhs attending the meeting are all arrested, where it was decided before they're arrested that this Jatha of 100 Gursikhs would keep on going every single day until the morcha, until the standoff is not resulted in the land coming to the Sikh Panth, which is rightly belonging to the Sikh Panth as well. So this carries on until the 13th of September. It is at the 13th of September, the governor of Punjab, he returns to Punjab. He sees what's going on. Whether he did this out of mercy or whether he done it as a political stunt, nobody knows. But he stopped the superintendent from beating the Gursikhs, and he chastised him about his about what he had done. No doubt the report by C.F. Andrews, when it was sent to the Manchester Guardian, had also reached the ears, if not the eyes, of this governor of Punjab. It was going disastrously wrong, so he steps in, stops the beating. However, as a matter of law, he does not stop them arresting the Gursikhs that are still going to collect firewood from the Guru Ka Bagh. So the arrests carry on, but the beatings have stopped. The trials carry on, and the sending of Gursikhs from Kukewali to Amritsar side, where they are put on a train and then sent to the jail at Attak, which is past Panja Sahib, I've already mentioned, that carries on. From the 13th of September, this carries on until the 16th of November. On the 16th of November, after talks between the governor of Punjab and a very prosperous engineer by the name of Sir Gangaram from Lahore, After talks between them, Sir Gangaram agrees to buy the lease of Sundar Lal Mahant, whose name now is Joginder Lal. Well, Joginder Singh is what they called him, but in the greatest of respect, he only became a Singh for his own benefit and gain. So he then enters into talks with Joginder Lal the Mahant, and he takes a lease out on the 65 acres of land of him. Once the lease is in his hands, he then gives all access rights to the Sikhs, that they can go and cut down any trees they want to and use the wood for firewood in Guru Ka Langar. This is on the 16th and the 17th of November. Now, today is the 30th of October. So, up until the 17th of November, these arrests did not stop until the 16th and the 17th of November. 16th is when the talk started, on the 17th is when the agreement was made. So up until the 17th, from the 8th of August up until the 17th of November, 5,606 Gursikhs have been beaten, arrested, a large number of them beaten so badly that they're going to have life-lasting injuries. They have been arrested and they have been sent to Atak jail. Now, as I've already said, once arrested at Kukewali, they are transported to Amritsar Sahib. There they are put on a train which goes to Atak. Now, this train that goes to Atak stops off at Panja Sahib. Now we're going to come to the Saka of Panja Sahib. This train stops at Panja Sahib. Now, there's two main figures. All the Shaheeds of Panja Sahib, my namaskar to them. We cannot even equate or even compare our lives to the dust on the charan of those Shaheeds. So pranam to them. But the two main figures in the Saka of Panja Sahib are Bhai Sahib's Bhai Karam Singh and Bhai Sahib's Bhai Pratap Singh. Now, just to give you a bit of background on these Gursikhs, Bhai Sahib Bhai Karam Singh, he is the son of Gyani Bhagwan Das. Now, Gyani Bhagwan Das is a Mahant also at Keskar Sahib. Now, even though I've painted a picture of what the Mahants were like, however, not all Mahants were bad. When the Gurdwara Sudhar Lair started, a number of Mahants straight away, without even asking, handed over the Gurdwara to the Lair, to the SGPC, because not everyone in any organization or any background is bad. You get your good and you get your bad. At the moment, we've just heard about the bad. This Gyani Bhagwan Das of Keskar Sahib, he is a Mahant, he is the person, the caretaker in charge of Keskar Sahib. He has a son by the name of Karam Singh. Karam Singh is his name. Afterwards, first he was named Sant Singh. His name Karam Singh was given to him once he had taken Amrit at Sri Hazur Sahib. Once he had taken Amrit, the Panj Pyare gave him the name of Karam Singh. That's how his name Karam Singh comes. Now, this Karam Singh, previously known as Sant Singh, the son of Gyani Bhagwan Das, he is also a Mahant. But when this movement started, he handed over the whole running over to the Khalsa Panth. Him and his father are long times Shraddhalu, respectful Sevadars of not only Keskar Sahib, of Guru Ki Sangat. His father, we hear, he would every single day do the duty, do the seva of giving jal to all Sikh Sanghas visiting Anandpur Sahib and coming to Keskar Sahib. So he wasn't boastful about his position as Mahant. He was a Mahant, the caretaker, and he remained as a caretaker. And as a caretaker, he also remained as a Sevadar, as a Gur Sikh, as a Guru Ka Sikh. He looked after Guru Ki Sangat. These are the gun of these are the qualities of this individual. His son is just like him. After his son hands over the running of Keskar Sahib over to the Sikh Panth, He then decides there's no need for me to stay here. Him and his wife, they go on say a Gurdwara Yatra, if you can call it. They visit different Gurdwara. And along the line of visiting different Gurdwara, they end up at Panja Sahib for a little while. When they are there, he is someone who does Kirtan daily, Prem Dinal, with love. And as they're doing Kirtan there every single day, the Sikh Sangat becomes so attached to him that the Sikh Sangat say to him, "We Pai Sahib, do not go from here now." Knowing the Sikh Sangat to be the Guru, a roop of the Guru, he does not turn down what they say and he accepts to stay there. In the mornings, he would get involved in Asa Divarda Kirtan and Kirtan throughout the day. But throughout the day, he would be involved in washing pande, in Jodiyan di Seva, in Chadu di Seva, in reading Bani. He was always throughout the day, he had given his life to the Guru. I use those words, given his life. When he becomes Shaheed, he literally gives his life for the Panth. He had given his whole tan, man, tan to the Panth as a Sevadar, him and his wife. So this is Pai Karam Singh. The other Pai Sahib is Pai Pratap Singh. Pai Pratap Singh is 24, 25 years of age. Pai Karam Singh, I believe, was 36 years of age when this Saka happened. So Pai Pratap Singh, just to give you a bit of background on him, he is the son of Sarup Singh, who is from Akalgarh, which is north of Panja Sahib, about 40 kilometers north, I believe, maybe more, so don't hold me to that. So they are from a village called Akalgarh, which is north of Panja Sahib. They too have come to Panja Sahib and they are involved in daily seva. 24 years of age, he was in the army when the Morche started against the Britishers. There was a message sent out to everyone that everyone wear black dastara as protest against the British. He was in the army. He wore a black dastar. The army told him to remove it. He refused. He was sent home. When he comes home, he is married. His wife's name is Harnam Kaur. She is 18. He is 24. And I want to share something with you about Pai Pratap Singh and his Satkar Yog Singhani, Bibi Harnam Kaur. These are the kind of mama, these are the kind of bibiyan we've had in our panth, that they were iron-like. Pai Pratap Singh and his wife, they are visiting their friend in Shimla, or is it Srinagar? It's Srinagar, I beg your pardon. He's out there visiting his friend, and in the days he's out there visiting his friend, the friend he's visiting has a 2-year-old son who dies in those days. And when this son dies, his friend tells everyone that's coming, so look, here a person dies on a particular day, and then the funeral happens maybe a week and a half later. But in those days, was not the case. Whenever someone died, usually the very same day, the sanskar, the cremation, was done. So when his son dies, as people are coming, more and more people start gathering, he tells everyone, if you are to come to my house to be with me at this time, do not cry. If you can't hold your tears back, then main hath jod ke benti karda, just don't come here. Because my son, I was given the duty as being the father of this child by Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Maharaj. The child belongs to Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. I am not in any sorrow at all. In fact, I am grateful to Guru Maharaj that I was the father of this child for 2 years. So therefore, nobody cry. And when his body is being taken to the Shamshan Ghat, to the cremation ground, this friend of Pai Pratap Singh is at the front of the procession. He's got a tolki, as you'll see in many Gurdwara Sahibs at Sukhasan Villa. You have a Gursikh with a tolki, he's playing it, then you got the other Gursikhs behind with Shane, then Guru Maharaj's Suroops come. So just like that, he's got the tolki, but this is not Sukhasan, this is the cremation of his son. Anybody would have broken down at this time. He's got the tolki and he's singing Shabad at the top of his voice, no sorrow whatsoever, being grateful to the Guru for having given him that opportunity to be the father of that child for 2 years. Once this whole funeral happens, Bhai Sahib, Bhai Pratap Singh and his Singhani, Bibi Harnam Kaur, they go back to where they'll be spending the night. And Bhai Sahib, Bhai Pratap Singh, Guru Ki Sangat Ji, people whose names are going to shine forever, like Bhai Sahib, Bhai Pratap Singh and Bhai Sahib Karam Singh. They are not normal people. They are not like me, who has, for throughout, through the mercy of the Guru, ended up in this panth. My ardas to Guru Maharaj Ji every single day. I don't say I'm a Sikh. My ardas to Maharaj Ji every single day is, Maharaj, please, somewhere along the line, make me your Sikh. To become a Sikh, we may self-qualify as being Sikhs purely through wearing a kada. If that was what Sikhi is, then there was no reason for Bhai Sahib Bhai Mani Singh to give Shahidi, Bhai Sahib Bhai Matti Das, Bhai Sahib Bhai Satti Ram, Bhai Sahib Bhai Dayal Das, many other Gursikhs, many other Gurmukhs. If we read their Jeevans, their lives, and then I look at my life, it's like a dim spark compared to the sun. There is no comparison. So this Bhai Sahib Bhai Pratap Singh, that evening when he goes to his room and he's talking to his wife, he says to his Singhani, he goes that if ever such a time should visit us, that we have a son and our son dies, we must do what this Gursikh has done, has accepted the Pana, accepted the will of Guru Maharaj, and he remained in Chardi Kala, in ever high spirits. He did not show any sorrow. This is how we must learn from this and fashion our lives. So if this should happen with us, that we too do not shed a tear. And look, the gem of an individual this Bhai Pratap Singh Ji is, Guru Maharaj Ji gives him a gem of a wife as well. She too agrees with him. And as destiny would have it, when they come back to Panja Sahib, they have a child, a son, and they name him Tarlok Singh. Tarlok Singh is at the age of about 2.5 years of age. He's another blessed soul. At a very young age, he's already learned how to play the tabla. He's already learned how to sing kirtan at that very young age, at 2.5 years of age. He is playing with his friend, and his friend pushes him. And when his friend pushes him, he ends up in a pot of boiling water. Now, as you can imagine, now we got small pots. In those days, badde patile, badde kadahe hunde sage. And this big pot, this big dega of boiling water, when Tarlok Singh falls in it, he's not able to climb out of it. By the time his father, Pratap Singh, who is just outside in the courtyard, hears the whole rolla and comes inside, by that time his son has sustained massive 3rd-degree burns. Anyway, he pulls his son out. Him and his wife instantaneously do not let the shock of what they can see take over them. Instantaneously accept that as the Pana of Guru Maharaj. They hold their child as their child breathes his last, not too long after that. Their man is such of a Gurmukh, Gurmat nature. They did not even say one bad word against the child who pushed their child into the digger. Why? They said to each other, they said, this is how Bidata, the what? Bidata is Guru Maharaj who writes our destiny. They said, this is how the Bidata had written his destiny, written our destiny. This is how he was going to leave his body. This is the will of the Guru. They didn't even say one wrong thing to the child or even about the child. They accepted the will, and when it came the very same day to taking the child's body to the Shamshan Ka, Guru Ki Sangat Ji, Bhai Sahib Bhai Pratap Singh Ji, is not leading the procession with a tolki. Instead, he has a band, Baje Wali crew to come and lead the way. And at the top of his voice, he is singing Guru Ke Shabad as a thank you to Guru Maharaj for making him the father of this gem of a child, Tarlok Singh, Bhai Tarlok Singh, for the 2.5 years he was with them. This is the kind of resolve these people have. This is the kind of nature these people are of. So Paisa Pai Pratap Singh and Paisa Pai Karam Singh, they are Sevadars at Panja Sahib Gurdwara. The station of Panja Sahib, the master of the station is a Hindu. Paisa Pai Karam Singh knows this master. And he learns from the master that the trains that are going to Attic stop here. So what he does on the 29th of October, which was yesterday, he speaks to the station master and he says, the train going to Panja Sahib, what time, sorry, beg your pardon, to Attic jail, what time will it stop here? And the station master says that 8 o'clock in the morning it will be here. And so he says to station master, when he stops here, we want to feed the Sikhs that are on the train that the Britishers have made prisoners. The station master has no issue with this. He agrees to it. They, Paisa Pai Karam Singh and Paisa Pai Pratap Singh, they go back to Panja Sahib. They give the message out to the Sikh Sangat, and preparations are put into full swing to get Prashada Pani made for a train full of Gur Sikhs who will be travelling along that route. Somewhere along the line, it is unknown whether word got back to the Britishers that this is what they intend to do, whether the train station master had probably tried to get some kind of permission or whatever. That's not known, but the station master, in the early hours of the morning, he sends message that the train will not be stopping here, so don't come. At 4 o'clock in the morning of the 30th of October, which is today, at 4 o'clock in the morning, the Sikh Sangat have finished making all the Prashada Pani for the Gur Sikhs that are going to be on the train. Sri Asa Di Varda Kirtan is done. Paisa Pai Karam Singh has done the Kirtan himself, and right at the end, he sings a Shabad, Muhe Marne Ka Chao. He said, I am overjoyed in wanting to die. Wanting to die in which way? Wanting to die not of old age, not wanting to die of disease, but wanting to die by giving his life for the Sikh Panth. It's as if he knew what was going to happen. They do this Kirtan. After that, the whole Sikh Sangat with Paisa Pai Karam Singh, Paisa Pai Pratap Singh, they do an Ardasa Maharaj that even though the decision has been made, they're not going to stop the train. But Guru da Prashada is ready for Guru ke Sikh Asi Shikauna hi ha. About a jatha of 300 Gur Sikhs, men, women and children, in the early hours of the morning, they make their way to the station at Panja Sahib. There the station master reiterates that the train will not stop here. And what Paisa Pai Karam Singh and Paisa Pai Pratap Singh tell the station master, the train will stop here. This place is named Panja Sahib. Why Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj stopped the big boulder that was rolled down the hill by Wali Kandari with their own Hastkamal, with their own lotus hand. And that patthar is still there at Panja Sahib. They said the Guru who stopped the patthar, what big deal is it for the Guru's Sikhs to stop the train? You're saying the train is not going to stop? We will sit on the railway and we will stop the train. So anyway, the Gur Sikhs sat on the rail. The train has come. The train driver, I've forgotten his name now, he's from Gujarat. He sees the Gur Sikhs and he starts blowing his whistle for them to move. The orders had been given to him not to stop. He's not going to stop. As the train gets closer, the train did not decrease in speed. The train driver did not put his brakes on. Actually, when the train driver was later questioned in an inquiry that took place in front of a magistrate, when he was questioned, he said, I did not put the brakes on. He said, when the train hit the Gur Sikhs, all of a sudden the vacuum lever fell and the train stopped itself. I didn't put the brakes on. So he's coming, he's blowing the whistle. The Gur Sikhs are sitting there. Paisa Pai Pratap Singh, his wife Bibi Harnam Kaur, remember, they already had had parted with their 2.5-year-old son who died after falling in boiling water. His Singani Bibi Harnam Kaur is pregnant, 3 months pregnant at that time. She too is sitting on the track. Bhai Sahib, Bhai Pratap Singh and Bhai Sahib, Bhai Karam Singh, they take the full brunt of the train. Guru Maharaj's Kala stops the train in its tracks, literally. But by the time this train has stopped, Bhai Sahib, Bhai Pratap Singh, Bhai Sahib, Bhai Karam Singh, they are totally mangled in the wheels of the train. So are other Gursikhs. Now, as Bhai Sahib, Bhai Pratap Singh's wife runs over to Bhai Sahib, Bhai Pratap Singh, she sees that his jaw has been pretty much ripped off and is just hanging down. He manages to convey to her that do not come near me, number one, feed the Gursikhs on the train, and number two, do not shed a tear. Everyone that there is there, they hear this, and he says it in such a way that they all quickly engage in getting the prashada pani to the Gursikhs, while a few try attending to the Sikhs that are mangled underneath the train. But they're saying no, until they're not fed, nobody attends to us. Once the Gursikhs are fed on the train, then with however they manage to get whatever may constitute as a body out of underneath the train, Bhai Sahib, Bhai Karam Singh ji, about 4 hours after this, they're still recovering people from underneath the train. They're still recovering the Gursikhs. After 4 hours, he becomes Shaheed. The others that became Shaheed that day, they became Shaheed instantaneously. Out of them, only Bhai Sahib, Bhai Karam Singh and Bhai Sahib, Bhai Pratap Singh survived. Bhai Sahib, Bhai Karam Singh for 4 hours. Bhai Sahib, Bhai Pratap Singh. A gruesome scene it must have been to see at that time. But Tan, great is his wife, she did not shed a tear. This is Pana Manana in the house of Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj. They take what is left of his body to Gurdwara Panja Sahib. He stays in his body all day long until Amrit Vela, the next day, which is going to be tomorrow. Guru Ki Sangat Ji is the Shahidi Divs of Bhai Sahib, Bhai Pratap Singh. He stays in his body until 2 o'clock in the morning, when with his head in the laps of a Ragi Singh, he himself reads Siri Japji Sahib, and in the closing panktiyan, Jini naam te aaya, gaye masakkat kaal, Nanak te mukh ujle, keti chutti naal, as he says, keti chutti naal. Those two panktiyan at the end, as he repeats them twice, his pran, his last breath leaves him, and with it, so becomes his Shahidi. This is what took place at Saka Panja Sahib. I just want to share something with Aapji. So Bibi Harnam Singh gives birth to a daughter. That's who she was carrying in her womb when she was 3 months pregnant at that time. She is named Bibi Joginder Kaur. Bibi Joginder Kaur lived at not too far from Amritsar Sahib until old age. She had children further. Her children further. So Bibi Joginder Kaur is the daughter of Bhai Pratap Singh. So Bibi Harnam Kaur would go every single month to collect 25 rupaye, which was given as a tankha, as like a pension to Bibi Harnam Kaur for Bhai Pratap Singh from the SGPC. So she would go and collect that. Now, when she would go and collect that, she would bring that money and she wouldn't keep it for herself. She would give it out to nokars and to other Gursikh sevaks and other Lord ones, people in need. Her children one day ask her, they say I beg your pardon, her grandchildren, her dote one day ask her, they say, Nani ji. So not only her dote, but people from the village, they would call her Nani as well, right? At the age of her grandchildren. They said, Nani ji, if Nana ji Pratap Singh had stayed until now, he would have definitely got some high ranking job, some high position for sure. ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਅਹੁਦਾ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ. And the jawab Bibi Harnam Kaur ji gives, even after so much time has passed, she says, Putro, let me tell you one thing. There is no higher rank, there is no higher position, there is no greater awda than becoming a Shaheed Singh. So there is nothing in this world that could top the awda, the position, the rank he has got in the house of Guru Nanak of becoming a Shaheed. This is the mindset of of those people. This is the mindset of true Gursikhs, not the mindset of people like me that are probably happy if I get 2 or 3 meals a day and probably moan if I miss one. This was the mindset of those people. This is the account attached to Nankana Sahib. And on that note, any mistakes that I've made whilst doing this live, I don't normally do lives. So any mistakes made, please find it in your hearts to forgive. Now let us all focus our minds on the shaheeds of Nankana Sahib, on those people who gave qurbaniya for the sambhal of the Gurdwara, the sambhal that we talk about in the Ardas every day. Let's focus our minds on all of them, do pranam to them, and pranam to Satguru Ji Maharaj, who is the driving force behind all of them. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.